engaged.
This is the best it's gonna get. This is the best it's gonna get.
TeamSpeak. Flexible, powerful, crystal clear voice communication on any platform.
Server, but there should be never disputes about server because
we have
no,
excellent tournament rules.
I'm looking at my window. These
After.
snowflakes, it looks like these snowflakes are a pound each. It's snowing heavily in Seattle, Washington, United States. For you guys that are around here, hope you guys got your snow tires on because we're gonna get snowed in. But anyways,
send some of that snow down south a little bit. Get in the Longview area, you know.
Yeah,
I could use some nice snowboarding
You don't want
weather.
snow. People that aren't accustomed to snow don't want snow. They think they want snow. You don't know what you want.
Whoa! Listen, I'm still in Washington, son. All right, I still know what snow looks like. All right,
Oh,
don't give me none
You
of
take
that.
a field trip to come look at snow every now and again.
Snow day, yay!
Yay! It's so terrible because in Washington State we don't get enough snow for anybody to ever be good at driving in snow. So when we do get snow, literally it's pretty much the apocalypse around here. Seriously, everything shuts down. There's crashes every 2 seconds. It's just so terrible. So yeah, it kind of sucks.
People are like, they deal with rain constantly in Washington.
Oh yeah.
Rain. So they're good with rain. Once it's frozen rain though, once it's soft little flakes floating from the sky, they just have a meltdown. They're like, oh God, what do I do?
Yeah. All right. Well, the picks have come out, so let's go over these quickly. As I opened up my scoreboard, we've got mouz, by the way, versus Team Fire. Just in general, mouz is going to be on Radiant, and Dire is going to be the Team Fire. And we've got Dement on Lich, Rexy playing our A, Ancient Apparition, Sing Sing playing Mirana, Trixie playing Weaver, and Sexy Bambo on Night Stalker. And you're more than welcome. I'm going to share this time. You're more than welcome to go over the Dire's team.
Oh man, thank you, Chappie. You're so nice. All right, on the Fire team, we got Fluff and Stuff on Chen, I Love Daisy on Skeleton King, TC on Shadow Shaman, Hannah Montana on Omni Knight, and Ike's Mikes on Vengeful Spirit. And that's Geo, correct, on I Love Daisy?
You are correct.
Yeah. They're running the exact same team. We had the pre-qualifier yesterday, and they are running the exact same team as the pre-qualifier. The only difference being is they changed Furion in exchange for Broodmother for two of their games, which are both top-tier picks. This time they have an Omni Knight at solo top, so I'm excited to see that. Already a little bit of action. We were able to pick up the Illusion Rune, so that's going to be helpful for CSing at bottom. That's going to be awesome for him. But pretty much what we've seen from this strategy all around from the Fire team is just obviously they have a lot of heavy push. They have some great team fight now with Omni Knight. And they're just going to be pushing down towers left and right, get some early gold, get some team fight items from there, and really we haven't seen how that strategy progresses from there because their two games, they just dominated kids and ended up winning easily by 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, and take a look actually what Trixie has done here. Knowing that there's a Chen, he's actually taken the illusion and blocked 2 of his jungle spawns to make it actually much more difficult for Chen to not only jungle but just to find a very powerful creep, which was a very big part of Chen's strategy. Actually, this is going to be one of the only people, Weaver I'm talking about, down bottom, that can actually stand up to this lane, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Weaver just one of the hardest people to kill in an outnumbered lane like that. He's just has so much agility, just Shukuchi just all over the place, able to dodge missiles, etc. So it's going to be a tough time. And also in middle, middle's going to be kind of tough time for Shadow Shaman 1v2 lane with the AA in the lane. That means Night Stalker's not going to be harassed out of lane. Which Shadow Shaman would do in a 1v1 side, but having AA there is a serious help to Night Stalker. And then at top, Lich and Mirana lane, that's just kind of a classic Lich and Windrunner, Lich and Mirana.
Down bottom. No, let's see if they can get one. They do have the second stun out, nicely done. And the third one, it works anyways. They do it flawlessly. Their strategy not hindered by the fact that he can go invisible here. Nicely done.
Really great job. Laying that counter ward down and getting, some of the top single target stuns in the game right now. Skeleton King, Hellfire Blast just doing so much damage. It's a 2-stun duration, and then after that it's a slow and damage over time. So it just does so much damage. Such a great single target ability. Really helps out Skeleton King a bunch.
Indeed, and we see mouz. They respond by sending Lich bottom. Definitely a necessary. Watch out though. The only problem is that Lich is an equally, if not easier, target. We're gonna have the second stun coming up there from Geo. He follows up. Can we get the third one? Do they have the ward? And it goes down. The ward goes down. Invis does not save him again, and that is 2 very quick kills on the bottom lane.
I'm really surprised mouz is playing so aggressively with this Trixie on Weaver. You know you're in a terrifying lane combo, and you just got to know that you have to play much more passive than what Weaver is doing. But hopefully he's learned his lesson after 2 deaths. As meanwhile at top, there's just a CSing war now between Mirana and Omni Knight. But now that Lich isn't there, Omni Knight's going to be getting some serious farm. He's almost level 4, so he's obviously from that solo advantage. He has some serious experience advantage. That's going to help him out a lot in that 1v1 lane. So all around, I just see mouz losing their lanes, especially with Weaver giving up first blood like that. mouz just losing their lanes heavily right now.
Yeah, this strategy by Team 10-minute pause. This, anyways, the strategy essentially these lanes that they've run, they've had lots and lots of practice. So they're, this is nothing. It's nothing new to them. In fact, I was incredibly impressed just down bottom with how prepared they were for the Weaver. I actually hadn't even checked items on the way down there, so obviously it was. I mean, I wouldn't, I would only expect them, with their level of experience, to obviously have brought those counter wards down bottom to counter the Weaver. But I also want to mention down bottom with the ward, it looks like it's in a slightly weird position. The one by the tower, the ward by fire, and why that was there, why they placed that there, and it would have been obviously much more useful had Weaver not gotten that illusion room and blocked those spawns. But he would have been able to get vision of that bottom pull, of essentially the pull, and what he would have been able to do is basically get a creep out of that without putting himself in any kind of danger. It's just a precaution, because oftentimes there'll be maybe a tri-lane or a dual lane, and going down there to get that creep is dangerous in times. There we go. Down bottom, he's gonna invis out. He is not getting any farm whatsoever. This is working beautifully still for Team Fire.
Yeah, just like Fluff and Stuff did on the far left when those lanes were all blocked. He grabbed the large creep stack, neutral creep stack, closest to the base, to the Radiant side. He just leapt over the cliff and just took a creep over there.
I don't believe I'm seeing this. Did you? Oh my God! Look at this. Shadow Shaman just killed them both. I hope that we got that. Sorry, but he just killed them both, and one of them had DD. Does that make sense?
That was just crazy.
This is impressive. This is a very impressive play here from the Fire so far.
And the reason it is so impressive is because mouz is one of the seeded teams. We were talking about pre-qualifiers and qualifiers. mouz is a seeded team here. Fire had to fight through some, pretty much, some lower skill games to prove themselves in order to be here today. And it's very clear that they're not pulling any punches. They're here to win. They're here to show that, hey, we're the new team on the block. Meanwhile, at middle, they're actually trying to go on Shadow Shaman, but he's just fine. He's going to be able to heal up for some tankos. He's almost level 6, so he's doing a great job in middle. Doing some nice CS as well. He's 17-0, and obviously he's done well getting a kill as well. So
down bottom, we've got some divage going on. We've got Trixie cowering down below his tower. We'll see if they can do anything with that. His invis should be down for just a little bit longer. It's up right now. Now they need to evacuate away from that tower. Very, very aggressive play so far from Fire. But up top, I wanted to just has anything been going on up here that you've noticed? We've got what looks like Hannah Montana out CSing his opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's bound to happen when you have an Omni Knight who has a level advantage. Any melee versus a ranged hero who has a level advantage, he's going to be doing more damage. He's a melee hero, so he's an easier time CSing. And on top of that, Omni Knight being able to get a fast soul ring, he's able to pop waves just over and over and over again. And so it's going to be really hard for Mirana to be able to deny creeps and CS in general. So all around, that's just a winning lane after the 2 minutes. That's a winning lane for Omni Knight.
It's very winning. It's try-winning.
Yeah, winning.
Almost. It's more than by-winning here, but right now the gold difference, we're almost to 2,000 gold difference, only 6 minutes in. That is starting to look pretty dangerous for our mouz Sports pro team here. We still got 3 bottom. Nothing really has changed thus far. It's only 6:30, even though we do have 4 kills.
Action in middle. Night Stalker's gonna be able to pick up the Shadow Shaman kill. Great job by them. That was so needed because I was just about to commentate how it's nighttime. And actually, bottom they're going on Trixie. They have vision of it. He's gonna go down. Great counter wards. He was just the counter wards in Dota 2 have just so much range.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's
impressive.
an 800. Yeah, it's a very impressive counter ward. Really great job by Fire right now. They're just so coordinated right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so apparent the level of experience that they have. I mean, just everything that they do, you can tell has been done like 20, 30 times before. It's the, you can say this is definitely not the first time that they've gone up against a Weaver with this strategy. I mean, they know exactly the range of the tower to put their counter ward down. Obviously, the counter ward has more than sufficient range. As we see a meeting in the jungle here down bottom. Gonna get a stun followed up by another one. Nice damage coming out there on Sexy Bambi. Just gonna take him to half health as he grabs another creep. He's got to be careful he doesn't go down here. He's gonna be forced to run away. And
he might have his stun up. Oh.
Nope. He's gonna be bottling up. Meanwhile, Lich comes from the back. Now he's in a little bit of danger. Lich almost gonna go down. Now Skeleton King in a little bit of danger. Not level 6. He could easily go down here as well. But they're gonna group back up. He's gotta watch out. Lich should be going down here. Stun, nicely done. Oh, one more. Nice. 2 go down. Arrow misses. Now we've got Vengeful Spirit in a little bit of danger. He finally goes down. That's the 2nd kill for Mouse Force. TC also in danger, but his wards are doing work. Hannah Montana has arrived. He is coming as well. The AA ult hits Fluff. Fluff goes down. Nice AA ult. And the haste is also available down bottom. Geo is going to grab it. And that should be it. No, Mouse Trixie, he had no mana. No mana. He's going to go down
the tree.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Great series of
if
events.
Omni Knight didn't get that hit, TC was just in the position to hit another shock over the trees. Really great play if Hannah Montana hadn't gotten that last hit.
Well, yeah, great job for Hannah Montana also to coming down and visiting the fight. Great play all around. Obviously, you can tell everybody was doing what they should have been doing, keeping in, reinforcing. But still, we have quite the lead here, 3-10. Let's go ahead and see how the gold looks. Now, after that team fight, it dropped dramatically from 2K to 3K. We've got Team Fire quickly running away with it here. Hopefully, Mouse can turn it around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mouse, and on top of that, the experience is just heavily in favor of Team Fire. They have way more levels right now, and that's something about Night Stalker. Usually, when you were going through the picking and banning phase, unfortunately, we didn't get to see that because we were going to cast another game at the time. But we didn't get to see that. But something about that, usually Night Stalker is typically banned. Night Stalker is one of those heroes who's among the 6 heroes that is typically banned, and leading him out there is kind of dangerous. But with the team that Fire is running, they can just push their advantage for the first 6 minutes, and by the time that first nighttime pops up, especially with TC just dominating middle like he did, Night Stalker is not in a position to do really well during this first nighttime, which is so key when you have a Night Stalker. You want to press the advantage every single nighttime that he has. And so it's just amazing that Fire shut him down the way he has, and now it's showing. The team fights are not going in Mouse's favor heavily because of that.
Absolutely. We've got Fluff and stuff. He has those quick arcane boots and non-stop sentry wards. As I need to figure out how to turn that down. There we go. Sorry, I'm so bad with these little caster hotkeys. Still trying to learn them all. But interesting ward down bottom actually from Mouse Sports. Talk about the most ultra defensive. We're getting crushed down bottom ward. Look at that. It is. I want to say that's probably obviously just out of range of blocking the creep camp, but I mean, wow, to have a ward like that, I mean, that just goes to show how behind you are in this game. If you have to have that much of a defensive ward to have somebody just who's gonna come through that entrance and try and get you. Meanwhile, we're gonna have an AA ult, gonna grab a couple people in mid as they try and get this tower, and this looks like it could be the first tower of the game, going to be taken here by Team Fire. By the way, for those of you wondering, Team Fire is a North American team.
I love the double tornado action that's going on in middle. That is just so tough to handle. I mean, there's
like
no support heroes that can really go forward and deal with that kind of action. Just the damage over time is insane. I like what Mouse is doing. They're giving up the tower pretty much. They're not doing anything about the fact that they're just farming, and they know they have to farm. Their early game Night Stalker isn't high enough level. He's not at that point where he should be dominating the game. So they're just sitting back and farming and doing a great job of it at that.
Yeah, they are. They're doing what they need to do at this point, obviously, and defending towers is not one of them. So we'll see. We'll see maybe what kind of if they do Rosh here, which maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. They're going to go ahead and do all the counter warding, though. They're going to ensure that they have complete map control, which they've had for quite a while. And they are pinging. Who's that pinging? So it looks like, obviously, they're going to rotate bottom and take this tower. This is obviously the phase of the game where they're going to take their Chen, their creeps, their superior farm, and they're going to start pushing towers and really try and press their advantage, get some items. They do have nice scalability in the form of Skeleton King. So obviously, let's actually, I'm going to take a look at what his gold is, if I can remember. F4, his gold a minute is 309, and Hannah Montana is 308. Nobody has 300. In fact, the highest gold a minute, about 250 on Night Stalker for the opposing team. So yeah, big difference.
Unfortunately, Team Fire had just blown a smoke right as Marana ran into them into the forest. They're looking to get a nice little gank in middle. They were going to smoke up and gank middle. Unfortunately, Marana spoiled that by being in the forest. So It looks like, yeah, I know, that would have been a really nice gank in middle, and then they would have been able to know that they could press a tower once again. But it looks like they're just going to go straight up, force a team fight once they push back middle. I'm actually kind of surprised Shadow Shaman is not there. He might teleport bottom, but it looks like he's just farming middle for the meantime. He has actually picked up Arcane Boots, so they're ready. 2 Arcane Boots, they are set to go. It looks like Team Fire is set up in order to dive bottom tower.
Here comes the March of the Tornadoes, the inevitable March of the Tornadoes, as I like to call it here.
Yeah,
does
and
the
they
damage stack?
teleported back.
I imagine it does.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Does the damage stack on the Tornadoes?
The damage stacks, the slow does not.
Okay. Well, that is broken. So they're going to obviously do what they do best here and abandon the bottom tower, trying to get as much farm as they can. Meanwhile, Hannah Montana has gone top to try and halt the farm of Trixie, do as much as they can to slow the farm of the carries. And that AA ult actually misses, so there's going to be absolutely no damage done whatsoever. So they're probably likely just going to continue on here and take the second tower down bottom, assuming there's mana on these tornado generators. They're going to have a nice response. We've got 2, 3 TPs in. We already have a 4th in here, TC, and they're actually going to do a great job. Nicely done, preventing even any towers from being taken.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any towers they're taking are just going to be a huge advantage to Team Mouse. I mean, even though they have way less gold, they still have the ability to fight back with less gold, less gold and less experience. That's the way their heroes are built. They can fight back and potentially win team fights, especially late game. So that's the thing that Team Fire is going to have to worry about is Mouse outmaneuvering them out whenever they push a tower. Mouse is going to be trying to push other lanes and force as much gold as they can during that time while they're losing towers, just trying to get as much gold to get their late game to come a little bit faster. Nice arrow, almost hitting the GC, but it looks like AA is going to go down here. Worth and everything, no counter ward.
No counter ward.
That is a huge mistake. They really needed that kill in order to press the tower. Oh man, that's got to be really upsetting for Team Fire, not being able to have those counter wards. You know you have to have dust whenever there's one on the board. So that's really upsetting. Yeah. So they might not be able to push this tower. It's going to be way too tough, especially with Weaver there.
Oh, watch out! AAO coming in. He's going to grab TC. He's going to get hit with it. No, he actually just barely gets out of range of it. But they don't have the wards that they wanted to fight with. So now they actually had a slight disadvantage as far as that goes. We do see if you click on Chen, you see he obviously realizes the need for sentry wards. He has those in his stash. Not going to make that mistake again. But still, the farm differential is just too great to even risk a straight up fight without Shadow Shaman ult. So they're going to give this next tower down. So that's 1, 2, 3 towers down in 15 minutes.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset that Mouse. I mean, first of all, top tower was being pushed solely by creep. So if they weren't planning on defending that tower, then they just needed to teleport top and get the farm that they could have gotten. So they missed out on a really big choice there. I think they were just sort of undecided whether or not they could fight. And then they decided they weren't. Which it's better to play it safe right now. You don't want to force a bad team fight. That is the worst thing that could happen for Mouse Sports. So just you got to keep farming, got to keep avoiding the team fights as much as possible, and occasionally put a stop to pushes if they can.
Yeah, and with all these towers, the gold per minute there's 3 people above 300 gold a minute on Team Fire. Whereas at the best gold a minute is just Night Stalker at 270, and what they really wanted on is Weaver and Marana at this point at 260 and 248 apiece. So, okay, here we go. We're going to have a go here on Rosh. Let me go ahead and look around for wards and see what's going on in that department. We just have 1 ward from Team Fire, and with no farm, let's see what the gold a minute is for. Let's look at this, 94 gold a minute and 118 gold a minute on Ancient Apparition. They are dirt poor. They have no chance of even trying to retake map control with wards, with counter wards. They're going to get an AA ult to do some damage, but it's just to really piss him off at this point. It's going to go down, going to be taken on Skeleton King, who has a 4-staff, mind you.
I love the team fight items on Teamfire. It's just awesome. You have a push stick both on Skeleton King and Hannah Montana on Omni Knight. Both of those going to be able to force fights readily, and actually a top. Oh, nice block by Shadow Shaman.
Wow.
Blocking
Oh,
off
but he
the
can't
exit.
get it.
Oh, but unfortunately he was so close to a grapple. They're going to see if they're going to be able to hunt down Night Stalker. They're closing in on him. Dark Green, Hannah Montana on Omni Knight is going to be able to get the slow on him. So Sexy Bamboo's just trying to get away so he can teleport. Chen is closing in. No, maybe he's just going to suicide here. He has to teleport. He's going to teleport right there in front of the tower. Oh, he's going to go down.
Nice.
He gets away. Great play. Oh, he knew that Chen was coming in from the side, and he's just going in. Unfortunately, look at poor TC. Meanwhile, he's just stuck in the jungle. No problem. I'll wait here, guys.
Look at a shot up top. Look at this guy in there. Just.
Alright, so team fight items. You're gonna have mech soon on Fluff and stuff. He already has the buckler, and then on top of that, you also see TC has drum. So team fight items and initiating items. They don't have a whole lot of initiation, so those 2 push sticks on 2 tanky heroes is gonna be great for team fights. They're gonna be to initiate with their stuns. Hannah Montana is gonna be able to get in there, get his Degen aura all over everybody.
Yeah.
So that's just going to be great. I can't wait for the upcoming team fights. But meanwhile, they're halfway through their daytime, over halfway through their daytime. They really need to start pushing these extra towers.
Yeah.
Missing out on that Night Stalker kill wasted a lot of time, and they didn't get any gold or kill a hero for it. So that was they really needed to man up here and start taking towers real quickly before nighttime happens and before Mouse Sports gets too much farm on them.
Well, they're definitely going to do it, and they're going to get 2 here. They're going to get their second tier 2 tower at top now. And because look at everyone spread about 3 people on the bottom half of the map from Mouse, they're obviously going to be unable to do anything. They're going to try and throw an AA ult to delay it, but no, I really think Team Fire would be wise to continue this push. We do have 2 rotating over as we have a pause, but I did want to mention, you know, it's kind of, you did mention initiation, and you mentioned 4-staff in that regard for Team Fire, but I really like just the way that their strategy works. They don't need that incredible initiation, the incredible blink initiation, obviously, because their whole strat revolves around pushing, and you don't need necessarily to jump on somebody to push. You need to be able to react. Really, you're the one forcing a reaction. You're forcing someone to jump on you, typically. And if you have all these 4-staffs, you can pretty much eliminate someone's aggro, if you will. You know, you can kind of, you can really control a team fight, especially with the Omni Knight and you know, just all of their team, their skills in general. They have tons of CC from Shadow Shaman, tons of stuns, and lots of AoE damage, actually, if you consider Chen with all those stupid whirlwinds.
Absolutely. I mean, the upcoming team fights are going to be very crucial. Lich is now level 6, which is kind of upsetting. 18 minutes, you're just now hitting level 6, and you're like, yes, I finally have my ultimate. So that's kind of upsetting for him. But those, you're right. Those push sticks are going to be allow them to react, and when the upcoming ultimates come in, they're going to be able to spread themselves very well. They have Chen creeps to be able to tank up Lich ultimates, and they're just going to be pushing down towers. And there's not a whole lot that Mouse Sports is ready to deal with it at all.
There we go. We've got a bit of a flank 2 coming in from the on their. They got to be careful not to get caught out by themselves. They need reinforcements from the south now, and they do get that. It's now 4v5. Unfortunately, the Lich ult's going to come out. It's going to be great bounces, actually. Nice bounces from Lich. Is going to almost take Hannah Montana completely out of the fight. Now Rexy is in the hunt for Hannah Montana. 1 more hit, he should be enough. He's going to heal himself. He's good. But still, even with that, he's going to juke it still. 2v1 exchange. Shen does go down. The creeps did not. He still has those creeps, and they should theoretically be able to get this tower.
Really great job by IX Mike. Nice push stick coming in, trying to get the chicken. He got the chicken up on it. They're going to be able to take her down easily. Great job using that 4-stick. Really great job by IX Mike planning those wards behind, knowing that typically Night Stalker doesn't want to run straight up. So coming in from the side is a great idea for him. And they knew the Mirana ulti was coming. They had the wards set in place, and that is so key. Whenever you're pushing fights, you just got to have those counter wards set in place in front of towers every single time. Nice swap coming out. They're going to be able to take out Immense. And on top of that, they're just going to math on this tower. There's nothing that Mouse Force can do about that. Weaver isn't set up to do anything. Night Stalker's too set up for individual hit. Nice job by Hannah Montana saving IX Mike with a repel.
Oh, was it repel? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously it was a repel, not an ult. Never mind. But nicely
Trixie's
done.
actually setting up, hopefully to be able to get some kills here. Night Stalker coming in with a
D.
double damage on him. Oh, look at that push stick. Try to chase him.
Run, dude! He's got no
Daytime is
mana.
coming. He has his ultimate. And
Oh,
on
he's
top
got
of that,
Blink.
Nighttime is right on top of it. Blink coming up. Great job by TC. Blinking away. He's going to have to hide. The bug is on him. They
Oh,
have
no,
vision.
he's done.
He's going down. Still, that was a great chase by them. And, hey, the longer he makes them chase, the longer it means they're not farming. So
Well, they
all
may-
around TC, great
Yeah,
play.
exactly. Although they may take this moment to obviously get their second tower, right? Their second tower top. They really want that. But we can see the defense ping coming out. Look at that. Actually deny right now, I believe. Hopefully, IX Mike is able to do that before the lane pushes. Let's see if he can actually get that, and he does. Nicely done. So they're going to deny this tower, and I believe... did you happen to keep track who got the mid tower, or if it was denied, or if it was awarded?
You know, I don't actually remember. I think it was during one of the many pushes. I think Night Stalker was farming middle during one of those bottom pushes, and I think it went down during that time, but I could be wrong.
Regardless, the moral of the story here is that Team Fire has 10,000 more gold. I mean, and it's only 21 minutes in, 5 to 15. But you cannot ignore the simple fact that their late game is probably not as good as Mouse Sports' late game. There's no denying that the scalability of Skeleton King is great, but the fact is there's more carry potential on the other team. But at 10,000 gold down, it's really, really hard to actually see that ever taking place. But make no mistake, Team Fire definitely has to keep pushing. They have to have a fire under their arse, if you will, to keep pushing these towers. They eventually have to crack these Raxes, because if this goes any I'd say longer than 35 minutes, then they could be in a world of hurt.
You know what else I love about Team Fire's strategy is the fact that even if this does go late game, if they reach 45 minutes, the chances are, with the way they're playing, with how just their team Fluff and Stuff's control of their team is just amazing. They're executing their strategies near perfectly every single time. And so if they get down these towers, you know that they're just going to control the farm so hard. So if it's 45 minutes in, that means they're still going to be, if they keep up their gold lead like they will, like they're going to control the farm, they're going to keep their gold lead, it won't even matter, because that late in the game, if they're still up 10,000 gold, they're still going to be winning team fights.
True. It is most definitely easier to win with that massive amount of gold. And the real problem here is that if they don't have a great turtle team. I'm talking about Mouse Sports. They really don't. All they really have is AA. Really. They do have an ult maybe from Night Stalker to help, but I mean, there's not a whole lot they can do to continually repel pushes. And that is what is coming right now, as we have the first base crack coming from Team Fire against Team Mouse Sports. This is going to be the first team fight we've seen in a while. Let's see how it happens. The wards are out from Shadow Shaman. The glyph has already been used. That's obviously not going to do anything against the repelled Geo there on SK. The tower is going to go down before the teamfight even starts. This is a bad... I don't know what they're waiting on. The best time to go is obviously when the tower is still up. The AA ult does hit too. It doesn't hurt anybody important. The ult comes out and does almost nothing. Oh no, yeah, it hits a whole bunch of creeps. Mouz actually gets caught out. I don't know what that was about. He goes down. He buys back. Now we're going to have damage coming out on the melee racks. It is a third down. One buyback force had to be used. By the way, this is tournament mode, so the buybacks are still 5 minutes instead of 6. Second death going right there, actually, again. Look, goes down again. Nicely done. Night Stalker not able to do anything. Now he's just feeding, and this is going to be easily the first base, or easily the first rack, and the beginning of the end.
You just now mentioned tournament mode. It's still tournament mode. Skeleton King still doesn't have his buff.
Oh no, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
this
and they're
is
still
way
just
better
destroying this
after
team. I mean, he still has ages. That's another funny thing. He is yet to die.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually worth mentioning that this strategy is way stronger now. In latest mode, this strat is better. I just want to emphasize that. We've got a bunch more people going down right now. Again, Weaver goes down, but that's his buyback. He's going to buy back into the game. Doesn't matter. Second melee is down. The damage has been done. That is 2 racks in 24 minutes.
Look at that. That is just, that is, oh my goodness. I'm just amazed by this Team Fire. Fluff and Stuff probably going to go down here, but the rest of their team is getting out. They force buybacks. They're that far ahead, and they just like, okay, we don't need to force fights. Even though we're so massively far ahead, they have the, I keep looking for a word here, the control, the patience, the, what's the word I'm looking for?
Keep going.
So they just have that control to be able to sit back and go, no, that's okay. Even though we're massively ahead, even though we've taken a racks, pretty much 2 racks, because range doesn't really matter that much, they're still playing so incredibly passively when they have to. When they're like, oh, this might be a bad team fight. Hey, let's back up, and they do that. And I'm just really impressed.
Maybe I
really
have the term for you here. You tell me. Do they have tempo control? Tempo? I'm trying to be super advanced here. Maybe not tempo, but
that wasn't quite the word I was looking for.
Okay,
fine. But thank you.
You could have lied though. It made me not look like an idiot, but it's all right.
I mean, well, that's a better word. It wasn't the word I was looking for, but that's a better word.
Well, regardless, I'm still going to say that they're controlling the tempo of the game. So you can't take that from me, as we're going to have a bit of initiation here. Hannah Montana actually getting caught out. That's unfortunate. Mouse Sexy Bambo is going to go down as well here if he's not careful. SK, oh, one more hit. Stun goes out. Nicely done. He's going to land that winner's nail mount. He's going to leap over the cliff. Nicely done. He's going to escape. IX Mike getting a right click there by those illusions. So that was a 1-1 exchange. And it looks like people are grouping up around the inevitable Rosh fight. Watch out. He's busy fighting those illusions. And now he's getting a whole bunch of damage from Mouse Sing Sing. He's going to get stunned. Hopefully IX Mike can continue to get away. Oh, big crits. One more. Oh, nice blink. Nice blink Shock to finish that off. Nicely done.
And now they're going to set up for another Aegis. His 2 heroes are down. That was a great play by TC. I'm really impressed by his play all around. He's really good control over just how far Ethershot can go, and he's getting next to those glitches. He's doing those sort of things to just maximize his range and his placement in team fights.
Absolutely. As we see Daisy, aka Geo, not wanting to obviously use his ultimate in a Rosh fight. But yeah, they need to get this guy down. Actually, never mind. There's no rush whatsoever. There's no chance at Mouse being able to do anything about this. They are stuck in their base actually defending, because also you'll notice the terrible AoE, the terrible ability to push back waves essentially is also not going to be working in their favor whatsoever, as we have the final push potentially coming down bottom. The last melee racks to go down potentially will be the last nail in the coffin, obviously. We've got 4, or is that 5? We have Chen. He's rounding up some creeps. He's got Tornado. Actually having Shockwave, and was that Net? Indeed. So we'll see what he can do. We'll keep a close eye on those creeps. He's got quite the variety of spells. We'll see how well he can actually use those in a team fight. Because one of the big problems, obviously, with Chen and as a hero is his usefulness, I'd say, past 35 minutes. But if you are just that good, then these disables, these stuns, they don't ever become unuseful. Obviously, CC doesn't get less useful as time goes on, but it completely depends on the skill of the Chen player. So we'll see how well he can do this right here.
And Trixie needs to be a little bit careful. Sitting so far forward, no blinks, no push sticks. Oh man, I think they could have had him there, but it looks like they're just gonna passively push forward. Vlad's on Chen. Vlad's mech medallion. They have 2 drums. They have just so much team fight items. And another thing, you're right about Chen being scaling off in the late game. That's a really good point. He definitely doesn't. Actually, Trixie goes down. Oh my goodness, there goes the ultimate. Great push stick, isolating that Lich ulti. The only 1 bounce. Great job by him as Lich goes down. Now Bamboo he's trying to get away. TC blinking in, getting that kill. GG's being called out. And Team Fire, the underdogs here, the unknown team pretty much. Outside of the North American scene, they are pretty much unknown. And taking down Mouse Sports, what a great job by Team Fire.
Wow, that is definitely something to be proud of. These guys have earned it. I mean, this was no fluke. Absolutely, no one watching this can say this was a fluke. Oh, look at this lovely guy. Shouting out my chappy Winter LeBlanc skin. I've got to draw focus to that because it's not often you get shoutouts, you got to do that. But anyways, what I was saying, honestly, is that the way that I'm trying to say, just the scale that these guys won on is, you've got to realize how this is 7-25. This was a dominating performance against Mouse Sports, one of the top European teams, and it's going to be interesting to see how well they do in obviously the rest of this qualifier, but especially if they can make it to the Final Four, how they do on that stage as well. But that's going to be it for our first game of today. We should have ideally 4 games for you, 4 rounds. The next one we'll see how that comes up. But again, Fire moves on to round 2. So we're gonna actually take a break. Don't go anywhere. Again, assuming all goes to plan right now, you guys should be able to start doing hopefully some IRC type earn beta keys type stuff. So again, if you have not, hop in IRC. It's on what's the server? QuakeNet, and the channel is
Dota 2 replays.
Thank you. All right, guys, we'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere.